Illinois Stories is brought to you by the Corporation for Public Broadcasting, Illinois Arts Council Agency, and by the supportive viewers like you. Thank you.
Hello, welcome to Illinois Stories. I'm Mark McDonald in Quincy at ServPro, where on this Saturday afternoon an all-volunteer crew is building beds for kids who sleep on the floor. I just became aware of this group myself. It's a national effort to get kids comfortable to where they can sleep in a civilized surrounding. And this is quite impressive because today they're going to build 20 beds here, and all of these beds will be given to kids here in West Central Illinois so they can get off the floor to get a good night's sleep. Emily, this is the beginning of the process of making these beds for kids who would normally have to sleep on the floor.
That's correct.
They don't have to anymore because they're going to have a bed to sleep in.
That's right.
This is your husband.
Yes.
He's cutting the wood, and this wood is going to be used for for all of the bed, part of the headboard, part of the whole deal. It starts here, right?
That's right.
Okay. As we stand here, it's about 10:30 in the morning. You all have been at this for a couple hours already. So the wood's already cut.
Yeah.
Take us through the process just a little bit.
Okay, yeah. So it'll go from the cutting station over to the sanding stations, and our volunteers will grab wood in bundles of what the headboard consists of, and then they sand the pieces of the headboard, and then they take them over to the next station where they get transferred to the drilling and cutting, the drilling stations and the assembly stations.
Yeah. So it's an assembly line.
Yes.
And each bed has certain specs. So you're going to make what, 20 beds today?
That's correct, 20 beds.
Okay, and so to go right through an assembly line process. Right now we're looking at all the sanders. You've got like 10 or 12 volunteers just in the sanding department.
Yes.
And that's true, isn't it? It's all a volunteer effort.
That's right.
Tell us about what trick, is there a trick to sanding?
You know, there isn't. It's really easy. We even have, sometimes kids even come in here and do it. You just have to make sure that the bed is safe. And so you just run it along the wood, and if you see anything that could get caught, on an article of clothing, or it could cause a splinter,
you want it just as smooth as possible because there's going to be a child in there, and they don't want to get splinters or cut or anything like that. Okay.
Yeah.
Now there's a ton of sanders here. Where do all this? People don't bring their own sanders, do they?
That's correct. Yeah, nobody has to bring anything. They just show up and get to have fun with all the tools. So all the tools here have been either donated by local people, local stores, or we have used donated money to go to the local places and purchase them as we need them. Because as you can imagine, these sanders get quite a bit of use.
Yeah. And the fact is, these are all volunteers, but you're also a volunteer. You're the chapter president, and you and your husband don't make a penny either, do you?
That's right.
How did you get involved in that?
We watched a show on Facebook called Returning the Favor by Mike Rowe, and he finds people who are doing awesome things that nobody knows about, and he makes people know about them. Yeah. So we watched it, and this part makes me really emotional, but when you find out that there are children that have no place to sleep, or they aren't sleeping in a safe place, you have to do something about it. You don't just let that keep happening.
Yeah. How long have you been doing this?
About 3 years.
3 years? How many beds do you think you've been able to accomplish?
About 300.
Wow. And
one of those years was we were shut down from COVID. So we're pretty excited about that number.
You're all over West Central Illinois and go into Missouri too, like 6 counties in Missouri as well.
That's right.
Yeah, 300 kids that are sleeping in beds that would have been sleeping on the floor. That's got to feel really good.
It's amazing. Yeah.
You also have some very committed volunteers.
We do.
And they join you on all your builds, and we're going to get a chance to talk to some of them, aren't we?
Yeah, I hope so. Yeah.
Because they're you couldn't do it without them.
I couldn't. No, I couldn't do it. We depend on people to telling other people about what we do and showing up and getting the job done. So.
Well, good. We're going to follow the process through today and learn more about this.
Yeah.
It's a very interesting organization. Okay, Emily, now this looks like she's making marks on the board for some reason or another. What's going on here?
That's correct. This is our tapping station, and she places each piece of wood in a specific spot. And what it does is lets the person at the next station know where to drill the holes.
Ah, okay. So she's not actually making the holes. She's giving an indication. This is where you drill.
That's correct.
Okay. All right. And these are for the headboards, right?
That's correct.
What we're
yes,
doing here?
this is the headboard station.
Okay. And then we can move down a little bit. Let's go this way. Take us over here. See. Then there's a small. Now he's drilling small holes where she indicated they had to be. Is that what's going on?
Yeah, that's correct. Wherever he sees those little holes that she tapped into, he's drilling for the smaller screws that go into the headboards. And then he puts them there, and then our drill press people grab them from there, and then they drill the larger holes where the larger bolts and screws are going to go when they assemble the headboard.
When they assemble. Okay, all right. And we're going to get to see that process too.
Yes, yeah.
And then these things, just for clarification, these beds actually get put together in the home where they're going to end up, right?
That's correct.
But everything's drilled and all the hardware is available right there. It's a matter of just assembling them at that point.
Yeah, that's correct. We have several places that allow us to store our beds and our bedding and the mattresses and everything. So it makes the most sense to store them in the smaller pieces. We don't have room to store bunks.
You are so fortunate. You have this ServPro facility when you need an indoor build, right?
That's correct.
It's hard to find a facility this big with this much open space where you can move all of your power equipment in here and do this.
That's correct. And a place that is willing to deal with our mess. There's a lot of sawdust.
And you got a lot of wood here that you had to purchase. How does that work?
That's correct. So there are two ways that we can do a build day. We can do a public build day that is funded just with donated money. We get checks in the mail from people who care all the time. People fundraise with their churches or businesses or organizations, and they send the money to us, and then we can then use that money to purchase the wood. Or a local organization can sponsor a build and they can purchase the wood for us. But we typically get our wood from Woodmart Building Center in Quincy, Illinois, and they make sure that we get the wood for the best possible prices. Because
it's really important because lumber is so expensive now.
Yes.
And you need so much of it.
We need a lot of lumber.
Well, it really goes for a good cause, for sure.
Yes.
Now, okay, this is going on. While this is going on, these sideboards are being built at the same time,
Yes, at the same time, we are also building these side rails. So these are also cut at the beginning stages to be the correct lengths. And true to assembly line form, he has pre-placed all these screws, and then they get drilled into these pieces here. They come out looking like this.
Oh, okay. So these are what he's pre-placed, right?
Yeah.
He's going to drill those in.
Yep.
Okay.
So he just pre-places them so that all he has to do is grab this piece of wood, put that piece of wood on it, and just go to town.
Yep. Okay, and so he's getting ready to drill those in right now. He's taking a break. We got to talk to him. No breaks, right?
That's right. We can go get him. All right.
This is Bob here?
This is Bob,
okay, what's he going to be doing?
So he's using this jig that's it's just a smaller one. It's got those track spikes in it. And he's going to place it up against the board and tap it. And that puts the marks exactly where he needs to drill those holes.
Gives him a starting point for this. Okay. And these are the side boards?
The side rails,
side rails. Okay. All right. Okay.
Okay, and then he goes over and
show us what you're going to do
does the other side.
On the other end.
Same process, just for the other end. It helps it be more of a no-fail process.
Well, it's got to all fit. I mean, if you get this in the house and the holes are in the wrong place, the poor guy that's going to install this bed isn't going to be able to put it together,
That's correct, yeah. It's a lot of extra work if we don't get it done right here, so.
Okay.
All right, then he carries it So we're actually a little low on volunteers today.
Are you really? It looks like it's buzzing to me.
Yeah.
It looks like you're...
Usually we would have people at each station ready to do this, but today
Bobby's got to do it himself. Okay.
So he's placing that small chunk of wood just to guide himself to the correct spot. And then he drills those in. He'll do one on each side to make sure that it kind of stays in place. And then the rest of them will go in.
And he's going to work really fast because look, he's got it all set up.
That's right.
Yep. That is really neat. And this is how you can build 20 beds in 3 hours.
That's right.
Yeah, amazing.
Yeah, that's right.
Mike Milhauser, you've been on a few of these builds, haven't you?
Yes.
Are you a carpenter yourself?
Nope, not a carpenter, but like working with wood.
Yeah, yeah. What are these guys in the process of doing?
So they're assembling the headboards now. We have a jig set up, so as they put the wood into place, it's going to hold it for them. They're going to flip the headboard over and assemble a couple more boards on it, and as it goes back into the jig, it kind of checks if everything's true and square or not for them. And then they've got some screwdrivers. If they're having trouble aligning things, they can drop these screwdrivers in a hole. It pins it together to help people as they come to these builds. They don't have to know how to put things together. We've got ways to teach them how to put things together.
I see. Okay, this is just a way of being sure that it's all everything's all lined up where it needs to be.
Yep, yep. That'll help us line it all up.
The cool thing about this is you can take people like myself who don't know anything about carpentry or putting things together, and they can be successful at this, can't they?
Yes, yep.
Really nice.
We have a lot of people that come and don't know how to use an impact driver or drill. We teach them how to use it, and at the end of the day, they're feeling very accomplished.
And then you say, well, okay, now come back and help us next time,
Yep,
right?
exactly.
Take us over next door.
Okay.
You were in the process of doing something here. What were you doing?
Our next stage is cleaning out the holes of the headboard and making dowel pin holes so we can stack the beds together to make bunk beds. So each one of these beds will be set apart like this.
Yep.
We've got another jig to make it easy that goes onto the headboard, keeps us in place. We drill our holes for our dowel pins. Then it goes back over to the next station where we're going to clean all the holes out. So when our delivery crews are assembling the beds, they don't have to drill anything in someone's home. Everything's ready to bolt together.
Oh, yeah, sawdust and all that stuff that would be a mess.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So we just clean the holes out on both sides. And then we make a countersink on whatever's going to be our face that people are going to see. Whatever side looks better. Well, this one, probably this side.
This side looks great.
Because we're going to brand it with an SHP logo before it gets dipped.
SHP, Sleep in Heavenly Peace.
Sleep in Heavenly Peace.
That's the name of the organization. Okay.
Yep. So that'll get branded. So now we're making bottom beds, so we're going to countersink 2 holes for a bottom bed.
Now when you say a bottom bed, this could be used as a bunk bed as well?
Yeah, it can be a bunk bed. So in this state, it's a bottom bed. It sits like this. If this is going to be a top bed, these dowel pins, we flip it. This will sit on top like that. Ah. And at that point, we have our side rails and we have a safety rail because the top bed needs a safety rail.
Ingenious, ingenious. Yeah.
Then from here, they go to another stage where someone will go over it. They'll sand any little burrs off. They'll double check the screws, make sure they're all countersunk so a kid doesn't get their fingernail caught on a screw head or something like that. And once it finishes that stage, then it's going to move on to the dipping process.
Okay. Can you take us over there?
Yep.
Show us that. Now dipping, is that the last process? Dipping?
Last process for the side rails, we still have to burn the logo into the headboards before they get dipped.
Oh, before they get dipped?
Before they get dipped.
Okay, all right. So, have they been burned already? Have they been?
This doesn't get a burned logo on this. Just gets treated and then set down to dry.
And what is this treatment? Describe to us what this liquid is.
This is vinegar and steel wool. So the steel wool gets put in the vinegar for several days. The steel wool will rust and dissolve, and that colors the vinegar. And that gives us a shade of brown. And over 2 or 3 days time of drying, this will actually change color and look better.
Like what color will it be?
It'll be a darker brown. We've got one out in the trailer. We can actually show you what the finished stain looks like.
So it'll take a couple of days. It'll sit there on that liner or that tarp, and it'll start changing almost immediately, huh?
Yeah. Yep, as it dries, it'll change color.
Well, Jacob, you and your wife are very committed to sleep in heavenly peace, but so are these folks.
Correct.
Tell me about these volunteers. I mean, you get, whenever you have a build, you get people showing up, don't you?
That's correct. Yeah, my wife does a really good job of posting it all online, and then word of mouth, we call lots of different people, say, hey, this is the month we're going to do it. And this year is the first year that we've actually planned out all the way through the year to where we know roughly when our dates of our builds are, so we can get more volunteers in as we go. We got several, I'd say we got 10 to 12 core team volunteers that are with us all the time that either go out and do the deliveries or come in and help set up all this beforehand. And then places like here, like ServPro, they do a great job of bringing in their workers as well to help clean all this in the day before, because normally they have all this packed and they come in and clean it all out for us.
Yeah, because you got to have space.
Correct,
right?
yes.
And it's interesting too, because okay, you haul all the sawhorses, all the drills, all the saws, everything that you need here, you have to bring with you.
That's correct.
How do you do that?
We got a big box trailer, and then we had a friend of ours actually pretty much give us a 3/4 ton pickup to help haul that. And then,
wow.
And so he gave it, I mean, a ridiculous deal on it, and so we can use that. And so then everything that we've used to purchase the trailers, all the materials, all of the sawhorses, drills, all that have all come from donated money from people in the community.
This takes a ton of your time. You and your wife have to devote a lot of time to this because logistically, there's a lot of setup. I mean, it's got to. You can tell how organized it is. That doesn't just happen, does it?
No. But no, I mean, we do. It does take up some time, but it's something we're happy to do. Our kids, we got a 2-year-old and a 4-year-old. They actually pretend like they're delivering beds at home and just goofing off, stuff like that. So I mean, it's part of their lives as well. And then we've got a great team base that takes care of the applications that when they come in, they vet all those by calling the people, seeing how old their children are, all that, and everything that we need with that. And then we got 2 to 4 delivery teams that are just constantly going out and helping deliver everything.
That's what I want to talk about too, because we've been able to see here how you make the beds and how you get them ready to assemble, but somebody has to deliver them and assemble them in the home, right?
That's correct, yes.
They must be pretty talented people.
They are, and luckily the headquarters, when they got everything going, they got it down set to where anybody can come in and help with that. But yeah, we have to have somebody that knows what they're doing while they're doing it. And but honestly, all it is on one single bed, you're looking at 8 lags, and it's put together. And then you put in the slats, and it's put together, and it's all right there. The kids get a big old kick out of watching it all go together. And
they can do it pretty quick, can't they?
Oh yeah, as long as you got a crew that knows what they're doing, you can be in and out. Just doing one bed maybe take 5-6 minutes, maybe 10 minutes max.
Wow, that's remarkable. Thank you.
Yeah.
Laura Moore, what do you like about doing this on a Saturday?
Oh, the thrill of actually knowing that what I do helps children. That even though it is a little dusty, a little, a little involved, it's a lot of fun. You know, we've got great people, and I know it's good for a good cause.
You were in the sanding department earlier today, so you said a lot of people don't like that because it's really dusty, isn't it?
Exactly. I do. I don't mind it. I find it you just kind of get in a groove, and you just, I don't know, a little meditative, I suppose. You just kind of space out and just make sure, you don't have any splinters and go on to the next board.
Sounds like a hive in there, so you're all a member of a beehive, sort of.
Yes,
working
exactly.
Together
it is, and you kind of get to see like parts of the bed coming together. It's not just 2x4s or whatever. You get the long ones and the short ones, and knowing that it'll help.
We were talking about, you're on the delivery detail once in a while, so you actually go into the child's home and put the bed together.
Yes.
That's got to be really rewarding, isn't it?
I personally think it's the best part. I get to see the kids' faces, the gratitude of the parents. It's pretty cool.
It's remarkable in this day and age, and I'm sure that it's not that rare. But when I heard about Sleep in Heavenly Peace and the fact that there were all these children that don't have beds to sleep in, I had no idea.
Exactly. My husband and I still talk about the amount of beds we continuously put out and deliver. It's nothing for us to deliver 8 beds on a day when we go and deliver. And the need just here in Quincy, Quincy is not a large metropolitan area, and just I can't even fathom places like Chicago, St. Louis, things like that. So the need here in Quincy alone is tremendous. I couldn't imagine.
Yeah. Well, yeah, it's wonderful work, and I think you enjoy it, don't you?
I do.
Yeah,
I do both sides
Saturday
of it.
morning this way.
Yeah. Oh, I wouldn't have it any other way.
Okay, thanks.
Thank you.
Jim Funk, how many of these builds you've been on? A number of them?
I've probably been on 8 or 10 of them. We've missed a couple when we were out of town, but we've been involved in most of them.
And your son is also active in this. In fact, he was one of the original core members that got the training,
That
right?
is correct. He was one of the 5 that went to Twin Falls and got the training.
Yeah, it's interesting that this is a national organization. I assume it's growing too because people are finding out about it, and everybody would like to see this thing succeed.
Well,
you know,
I mean, who wouldn't want to see a kid up off the floor? Right. Yeah.
Exactly.
I think right now there are chapters in the U.S. and Canada and Bermuda and the Bahamas, and I think all 50 states. There are 14 chapters in the state of Illinois.
Wow.
The closest one to the Liberty chapter is up in La Harpe, and then there's a chapter in Springfield, and I don't remember where all else.
Yeah. It's wonderful work, and I tell you what's really neat about this is it is so organized that you don't have to ask your volunteers to hang around all weekend.
Right.
They can get it done in 3 hours, and man, they feel like they really did.
We've got an amazing bunch. I mean, every build that we've done, we've had just an amazing group of volunteers. We have a kind of a core group that does the setup and sort of gets people going, but most of the people that are here today have been involved in a build before, so you don't really have to tell them the drill. It's just like grab a sander and go at it.
Yep, and that's what you were doing earlier when we saw you.
Right,
you don't mind that sanding, do you?
No, it's just I feel a little bit like Frosty the Snowman at the moment with the sawdust all over me, but other than that, no, I don't mind it.
Yeah.
So.
Well, thanks for your help. Appreciate it.
Sure. Yeah. Thank you. I appreciate you coming and your interest.
Emily, I'm surprised to know that there's so many kids without beds. I'm sure you were surprised to know that when you first got involved. How do the people that need beds for their kids find you? How does that happen?
Yeah, so we have a Facebook and an Instagram page, and as things get shared in the community, people see the posts that we make on those, and then they contact me through Facebook a lot of times, and then I direct them to the application. Or we are connected to like the local organizations in Quincy that care for children. So like CareNet, CHADOC, Child and Family Services.
Social service agencies know a lot of the kids in many cases.
That's right. And so if they know of children that are in need of bed, they can fill out the application for the families that they are servicing as well. A lot of it's just word of mouth that gets them to us.
Okay, so you do that. Do you have to do any vetting of the kids, or you just say, well, you do. You find out more about them.
We do, yeah. They fill out the application, and then we give them a call to discuss the application, find out, where are the kids currently sleeping, and do the families just want a new bed, or are the children really either sleeping on the floor, or are there 6 kids in a bed? Is the whole family sharing a queen size bed? Are they sleeping on couches? Any of those situations would qualify the kid to receive a bed, and it's children ages 3 through 17.
Okay, so then you get the kids on the list, and they, of course, then you're building all the time because you know that you're always going to be needing them, right? But you can't just deliver a bed. There's got to be, sheets and pillows, and how does all that work?
That's right. So we get bedding donations from the community. We have an Amazon list that can be easily accessed. People purchase things from Amazon and they come directly to us. We put them in storage and they're just waiting there for kids to sleep in. We also have a local drop-off location. One of our volunteers owns Accurate Home Audio here in Quincy. People can drop off the bedding at their store, and then we
that's nice. That's real nice.
Yes, it's great.
I guess the biggest expense is wood. I would expect that's your biggest expense. Although you do have incidentals like, you got to buy gas for the truck, and you've got the trailer, and you've got all the saws and all the. But a lot of that equipment comes to you donated too, doesn't it?
Yeah. Yes, everything we do has been donated, whether that's through money or just directly.
How do you raise money? How does the community give you money for this?
We talk about it in the community. My husband and I, everywhere we go, we tell them what we do. And when people find out that there are kids sleeping on the floor, they want to help.
They want to give you a check, don't
That's
they?
right. So they can give us a check. Sometimes people just donate cash to us. People, churches, host, fundraising events for us, like at Vacation Bible Schools. The kids will all bring money. Local schools like to do penny drives or hat days to raise money. The sky's the limit.
Yeah, that's wonderful. Emily, thank you. It's been a pleasure doing this today. I appreciate it very much.
Thank you so much for being
Absolutely. I think Jim told us that about 350 beds had already been delivered in the last 3 years. The 20 beds that you see here today are all spoken for, and the list is a little longer than that. So the next time they have a build, they'll probably be catching up with kids who don't have anywhere to sleep. With another Illinois story in Quincy, I'm Mark McDonald. Thanks for watching.
Illinois Stories is brought to you by the Corporation for Public Broadcasting, Illinois Arts Council Agency, and by the support of viewers like you. Thank you.